Council's shocked. They're attacking Earth. Are they insane, HFY? The station ahead, Orion 9, gleamed under the light of a distant sun, a massive ring of metal and glass that circled a small gas giant. It was one of the Council's main stations, a place where decisions that affected dozens of planets were made. Daniel had been here before, but never with this kind of urgency. Today, he was not just a visitor. He was called as a witness to something that could change the fate of his home planet, Earth. He looked out of the shuttle window. The planet below was a swirl of blue and green, clouds drifting lazily over oceans and forests. Earth had always seemed fragile to him, but it was alive, and he loved it for that. The thought made him tense. What if the Council really was planning something terrible? The shuttle landed smoothly in the docking bay. Daniel stood, adjusting his jacket, a standard-issue flight suit, and followed the corridor toward the Council chambers. The station was bustling with life. Humans, aliens, and robotic assistants moved with purpose. Alien languages mingled with the hum of machines. Daniel had learned to recognize the patterns, the subtle cues that told him when he was in a serious place. The Council chambers were one of those places. As he approached the entrance, he saw Olivia Hayes waiting. She was a human scientist, one of the most respected on Earth. Her eyes were sharp, scanning the area with an intensity that made Daniel feel both safe and worried. "Daniel," she said quietly, "we don't have much time. You need to understand what's happening." He nodded. "I know." I hoped it wasn't true." Olivia's face tightened. "It is. A faction in the Council is planning to attack Earth. They think we are a threat, even though we've done nothing to provoke them." Daniel's heart sank. He had known the Council sometimes underestimated humans, but this was madness. "Why? We are primitive compared to them. We've never been in their wars." "That's exactly why," Olivia said. "They fear potential. They see that humans can adapt and survive in ways that are unpredictable. They don't understand us, and when a group doesn't understand something, they often react with violence." Daniel swallowed. "So, what do we do?" Olivia looked away for a moment, then back at him. "We observe, we prepare. We hope we can change their minds before it's too late." They entered the Council chambers together. The room was massive, circular, with windows looking out into deep space. Council members from dozens of civilizations sat in high-backed chairs. Some were humanoid like humans, while others were forms Daniel could hardly describe, floating orbs of light, creatures with 6 limbs, beings whose very shape seemed to shift as they moved. The air felt heavy with tension. A Council spokesperson, a tall figure named Kirov from a species called the Thalorians, stood at the center. "We are convened," Kirov said in a voice that carried across the room, "to discuss the matter of Earth. Reports suggest this planet's inhabitants may soon develop technologies that could challenge the stability of the Council's domain. Some members believe preemptive measures are necessary." Murmurs spread across the room. Daniel felt a chill. Preemptive measures. That sounded like war. One of the Council members, a human-like woman named Lara Bennett from a colony in the Outer Rim, stood. "You speak as if humans are already a threat. They are still in the early stages of space travel. Their fleets are small, and their weapons are limited. They have no history of aggression." Another member, a sharp-edged creature called Vexler, hissed. "History is not the point. Potential is. They are unpredictable. If left unchecked, they may grow beyond your control. Acting now is logical." Daniel's fists clenched. "This is insane," he whispered to Olivia. "They are planning to attack innocent people because they are afraid of what humans might do." Olivia nodded, her jaw tight. "It is what it is. We have to be ready for anything. But first, we listen. We learn what they know." The debate continued. Council members argued over probabilities, strategies, and intelligence reports. Daniel noticed that the humans present, himself, Olivia, and a few others, were largely ignored. Their voices were drowned out by alien languages and mathematical projections. It was a reminder of how small Earth seemed in the vast Council network. Yet Daniel saw something interesting. Every time a human argument made sense, a few members would pause, exchanging glances that betrayed doubt. It was subtle, but it was there. Humans were unexpected. Humans made sense in ways these advanced species did not always appreciate. After hours of discussion, the Council adjourned. Daniel and Olivia walked out together into the observation deck. The room was quiet, just the two of them and the vast stars beyond the glass. "They don't understand us," Daniel said. "But maybe that's our strength." Olivia nodded. Exactly. Humans survive because we are adaptable, because we think creatively, and because we care for each other in ways they cannot predict. Daniel looked down at the blue planet below. Do you really think we can survive if they attack? Olivia smiled faintly. We will. Humans always do, but we have to be smart, and we have to be ready to prove that what makes us different is exactly what makes us strong. Just then, an alarm sounded in the station. Red lights flashed. Daniel and Olivia rushed toward the control panels. Data streamed in from the fleet sensors. Daniel's stomach dropped. They've moved, he said. The faction they're mobilizing against Earth. Olivia's face was pale. It's faster than we thought. We need to get this information to Earth immediately, Daniel nodded. And we need to tell someone in the Council that this is insane, that attacking us will backfire. The shuttle to Earth was prepared quickly. Daniel, Olivia, and a small team of advisors boarded. The engines hummed and they shot through space, leaving the station behind. Daniel looked back at Orion 9, the council station that was supposed to be a place of order, now a symbol of fear and misunderstanding. Do you think anyone there will listen? He asked. Olivia shook her head. Some will, we just have to find the right ones, and we have to show them why humans cannot be controlled or ignored. As they approached the jump gate that would send them to Earth, Daniel thought about what awaited them. Earth was small, seemingly weak, and yet it held something no council member could calculate, human spirit. And that spirit, he realized, might be the most dangerous force in the galaxy. The shuttle jumped through space, stars stretching into lines. Daniel leaned back, his mind racing. Earth was home, and if the council thought they could threaten it without consequence, they were about to learn something they could never have predicted. Olivia touched his arm. We'll get there. And when we do, humans will show them why they underestimated us. Daniel nodded, feeling a surge of determination. They had no advanced fleets, no council-level weapons, but they had each other, and they had the one thing that could never be measured, human courage. The shuttle exited the jump gate. Earth came into view, blue, green, alive, and entirely unaware of the danger heading toward it. Daniel's eyes narrowed. This was not the time to panic. It was the time to prepare, to think, to act. And to show the council that humans were not something to fear, but something to respect. He clenched his fists. Whatever the council thought they knew, whatever plans they were making, Earth would survive, and Daniel Brooks would make sure of it. The first part of the story ended with the humans approaching Earth, carrying not only warnings but hope. They were small, fragile, and underestimated, but that was about to change. Daniel looked at Olivia. Let us show them what humans can do. And with that, the stars stretched before them, carrying the future of a planet that no one, except its people, truly understood. The shuttle shivered as it entered Earth's orbit. Daniel Brooks gripped the edge of his seat, eyes fixed on the blue and green planet below. The familiar sight should have been comforting, but instead it made him tense. From space, Earth looked peaceful, but Daniel knew it was under threat. The Council faction had begun mobilizing their fleet. They had underestimated humans once, but Daniel was not about to let that happen again. Olivia Hayes sat beside him, her fingers flying across a portable console. She was monitoring the Council fleet, tracking their positions, speed, and potential attack vectors. They are closer than we thought, she said quietly. If they jump into Earth's system now, the planet won't be ready for a full strike. Daniel looked at the planet again. Cities glimmered in the sunlight, but he knew they were largely unprepared. Earth had no weapons capable of matching an interstellar fleet. Not yet. He exhaled slowly, forcing himself to think clearly. Panic would not help. Humans had survived far worse than Council attacks in history, and this would be no different. Get me the command centers, Daniel said. We need to warn the military and the scientists immediately. Olivia nodded. She tapped the console and opened a secure line. On the other side, a group of military officers and engineers waited. Megan Ford, Earth's lead engineer, answered the call first. This is Megan, she said. We've seen the reports. The fleet is moving fast. What do we do? Daniel took a deep breath. We have to prepare for their attack. Earth's defenses are limited, but humans are not. You will coordinate the orbital shields, the energy grid, and evacuation routes. We'll need to be quick, smart, and creative. Megan's voice was steady. Understood. We'll start immediately. Daniel turned to Olivia. We also need pilots, people who can fly and think fast. The Council fleet will not expect humans to fight back intelligently. That's our advantage. Olivia nodded. I'll gather volunteers, but we have to be careful. Their weapons are powerful. One strike could wipe out entire cities. The shuttle landed in a military base near the coast. The group moved quickly, the tension in the air thick. Daniel, Olivia, and Megan rushed to the command center. Large screens displayed the Council fleet in space, their ships sleek, metallic, and designed for precision. Humans had nothing that could match them in size or firepower, but Daniel noticed something. The Council ships moved in strict patterns. They were confident, predictable. Daniel smiled faintly. "They think this will be easy," he said. "That's their mistake." Megan glanced at him. "You really think humans can fight them?" Daniel nodded. "We will not fight them the way they expect. We will fight smart, and we will show them that unpredictability is powerful." They began planning. Humans had limited weapons, but they had ingenuity. They had quick thinking, improvisation, and a willingness to take risks. Daniel divided teams to focus on 3 key areas: orbital defenses, ground preparations, and decoy strategies. Olivia worked with the engineers to enhance the city shields. Megan coordinated the deployment of energy barriers, satellite disruptors, and automated drones. Meanwhile, pilots gathered in the hangars. Jason Tate, one of Earth's best, arrived with a small squadron of fighters. "We'll fly into their formations," he said, his voice steady. "We may not have their numbers, but we can outthink them." Daniel watched the Council fleet approach. Hundreds of ships glimmered in the distance, moving with cold precision. Humans had never seen such a display of power, yet he felt a quiet confidence. Humans could adapt. Humans could survive. The first Council ships entered Earth's orbit. The alarms blared across the cities, warning people to seek shelter. Daniel and Olivia monitored the fleet's movements. "They're scanning for energy signatures," Olivia said. "They will try to locate the command centers first." Daniel's mind raced. He knew the Council relied on logic. They expected humans to hide or surrender, but humans were not predictable. They had already prepared decoys, empty buildings with fake energy signals, automated transmissions to confuse the sensors, and drones flying false flight paths. The first strike came without warning. A Council ship fired a beam at one of the main cities. The energy hit the surface, but the shield absorbed most of it. Sparks and explosions lit up the sky, but the city remained intact. People ran to shelters, terrified but alive. Daniel clenched his fists. "They think they have power," he muttered. "They don't know humans." Jason Tate led a squadron of fighters to intercept a smaller Council vessel. Their ships were slower, less armed, but Jason used maneuvers the Council would not anticipate. He darted between asteroid fragments, using them for cover, and attacked from angles the Council computers would not calculate. The alien ship fired repeatedly, missing every time. Daniel and Olivia watched on the screens, amazed. "They're learning," Daniel said. "They're thinking in ways the Council doesn't expect." Megan Ford's team on the ground worked tirelessly. Energy shields hummed and glowed, covering key areas. Satellite disruptors jammed enemy signals, creating confusion in the fleet. Humans were small, but they were clever. Every Council attack was met with a counter they could not predict. The Council commanders became frustrated. They expected obedience, precision, and surrender. Instead, humans adapted, improvised, and fought back. Daniel could see the confusion in their sensors, the hesitation in their commands. The humans were unpredictable, and that was terrifying the Council. In one city, a Council probe landed to gather intelligence. Humans had already prepared a trap. Automated drones surrounded the probe, projecting false energy readings. The probe sent data back to the fleet, showing a city that was empty and defenseless. In reality, people were safely inside shelters, while engineers and volunteers moved to reinforce defenses elsewhere. Daniel watched, heart-pounding. "This is it," he said. "They are learning, and they will learn that humans are not easy to control." Hours passed, and the battle continued. Council ships fired repeatedly, but human strategies minimized damage. Every time a city was threatened, humans adapted. They used the terrain, the weather, and their own ingenuity to turn weaknesses into strengths. In the control center, Olivia Hayes looked exhausted but determined. "They think they can calculate us, but they can't." "Humans are chaos to their order," Daniel nodded. "Exactly, and chaos is a weapon they will never understand." Meanwhile, the Council fleet began to split, trying to cover more ground. This was the mistake Daniel had been waiting for. Smaller groups of humans attacked isolated ships, using speed, clever angles, and quick thinking. Ships that were supposed to be unstoppable were now vulnerable to a species they had thought weak. Jason Tate's squadron returned, reporting success. "We disabled 3 ships and forced 2 to retreat," he said, smiling despite the exhaustion. "We're holding them off." Daniel turned to Megan. "Your shield saved countless lives. The decoys worked. Humanity is showing its strength." Megan smiled tiredly. "We did what we had to do. We protect our people and we adapt." As the sun set on Earth, the battle continued, but humans had proven one thing: they would not be crushed easily. Every attack the Council launched was met with resistance, intelligence, and ingenuity. The humans were small in number, weaker in technology, but they were strong in spirit. Daniel watched the night sky, streaked with flashes of Council fire and human counterattacks. He felt a mixture of pride and worry. The battle was far from over. The Council had more ships, more resources, and more firepower. But humans had something the Council did not understand: the ability to adapt, to think creatively, and to fight for survival with courage and heart. He looked at Olivia and Jason. "They will not expect what comes next," he said, "and that is our advantage. We may be small, but humans are unstoppable when they refuse to give up." Olivia nodded. "They will learn, but it may take a long time for them to understand." "Humanity cannot be measured, predicted, or controlled." Daniel smiled faintly. "Good, that is exactly how it should be." The night sky above Earth was chaotic, lit with battle, but below it, humans moved with purpose. Engineers, pilots, scientists, and volunteers all worked together. They were small, vulnerable, and underestimated, but they were alive, fighting, and proving that even a primitive species could stand against the galaxy's mightiest powers. Daniel looked at Earth again. It was beautiful, fragile, and strong all at once. The Council thought humans were weak. They were about to learn that humans were dangerous in ways that no one could predict, and Daniel Brooks knew that this was only the beginning. Humanity had shown its first spark of strength. The Council would remember it, and the galaxy would never be the same. He clenched his fists, feeling determination like never before. Humans were unpredictable, clever, and resilient. They would survive. They would fight. And one day, the Council would understand that underestimating humans was a mistake they could not afford to make again. The night continued, filled with the sounds of battle, the hum of energy shields, and the flashes of counterattacks. Humans were small, but they were alive. And that was the most dangerous thing of all. The Council fleet hung in orbit, strange lights flickering across the stars. Daniel Brooks watched the display screens in the command center, his heart still racing from the day's attacks. Humanity had survived the first wave, but the Council was not done. They had more ships, more firepower, and a sense of superiority that made them dangerous. Yet Daniel could see cracks forming in their plans. The humans' ability to adapt, to think quickly, and to work together had confused the Council. Olivia Hayes leaned over the console, her eyes scanning data. "They don't understand humans," she said. "They expected an easy victory. They didn't expect us to fight, to think, or to adapt. Every time they attack, we counter in a way they can't predict." Daniel nodded. "They will begin to doubt themselves soon. Every loss chips away at their confidence, and doubt makes them slow, hesitant." In the Council chambers far above, the alien commanders were indeed beginning to question their strategy. Kirov, the Thalorian spokesperson, looked troubled as he spoke with Vexler and several other commanders. "This is unexpected," Kirov said. "The humans, they are stronger than our calculations suggested." Vexler hissed, his multi-limbed form shifting nervously. "It is impossible. They should not be able to resist us. Their technology is primitive, their fleets are small, and yet they survive. Each attack is met with countermeasures we cannot predict. How is this possible?" Another Council member, a human-like woman named Lyra from the Venari colonies, spoke carefully. "Perhaps we misjudged them. Potential is one thing, but intelligence and creativity are another. Humans have both in ways we did not consider." Kirov's eyes narrowed. "Are you suggesting we underestimate them?" Lyra nodded. "I am saying that humans are not what we thought. They are not simply a primitive species. They are adaptive, resourceful, and determined. If we continue our attack without caution, we risk failure." Vexler growled softly. "Then what do you propose? Retreat? Admit we were wrong?" Lyra shook her head. "Not yet, but we must reconsider our approach. Humans are different. We cannot predict them. That is dangerous." Back on Earth, Daniel and Olivia continued their preparations. They knew the Council fleet was observing every movement, but humans had a way of turning observation into opportunity. Daniel called a meeting with the pilots and engineers. Jason Tate, Megan Ford, and several volunteers crowded into the small planning room, their faces tired but alert. "We've surprised them once," Daniel began. "And we can do it again. They are trying to figure us out, but humans cannot be predicted. We need to think differently, move faster, and act smarter than they expect." Jason leaned forward. "We can use the terrain, the weather, and decoys. They can calculate power, but they cannot calculate courage, speed, or creativity." Megan nodded. "We've already developed energy shields and automated drones, but we can also use small teams for rapid strikes. Hit and retreat, confuse them, make them hesitate." Olivia added, "We need to communicate with each other more efficiently, quick updates, fast decisions." Humans have an advantage in flexibility. The Council relies on rigid patterns. They cannot change quickly. Daniel smiled faintly. "Exactly. Humans survive because we adapt, and we fight because we care about our homes, our families, and each other. That is strength they will never understand." The humans worked late into the night. Satellites were recalibrated, drones were positioned, and command centers were reinforced. Volunteers from cities and towns joined the effort, bringing energy, tools, and determination. Humanity was small and their technology limited, but their spirit was enormous. As the Council fleet moved closer, Daniel watched the displays. Hundreds of ships hovered in orbit, waiting for the next strike. They had learned from their first failure and were attempting to coordinate a more precise attack. Yet Daniel could see hesitation in their movements. Calculations were repeated, commands double-checked, and formations adjusted. They were no longer confident. Humans had disrupted their certainty. Olivia pointed at the screen. "They are discussing something," she said. "The Council is debating. They're unsure if they can continue. That is our chance." Daniel leaned back. "Yes, and we will take it. Humans don't wait for permission." "We act." Jason Tate's squadron readied their small fighters. They were slower than the Council ships and had weaker weapons, but Jason had a plan. "We hit their communication ships first," he said. "Cut off their coordination, confuse their fleet. Then smaller attacks can be more effective." Megan worked with the engineers to prepare energy traps on the ground. Automated drones, disguised as harmless satellites, would intercept incoming Council attacks. Cities were equipped with decoys that mimicked command centers. Every movement was designed to confuse, slow down, and frustrate the enemy. The Council fleet moved again. A group of ships fired toward a major city. The human defenses activated quickly. Energy shields flared to life, absorbing most of the energy. Drones swarmed the Council probes, projecting false signals. The humans had turned the attack into a distraction, luring the Council into a trap. Jason and his team struck at the Council's communication vessels. Their movements were unpredictable, weaving between asteroids and using planet shadows as cover. Council ships fired repeatedly, missing every time. The humans struck quickly, disabled the ships, and disappeared before the Council could react. Back in the command center, Daniel watched the Council's frustration grow. Their strategies, based on strict logic, could not anticipate human creativity. Humans were small, but they were clever. Every move was unexpected, every counter effective. Olivia whispered, "They're learning, but too slowly. Humans are faster than they think. They cannot calculate courage, imagination, or determination." Daniel nodded. "And that is why they fear us. They can destroy cities, but they cannot destroy the human spirit." The Council fleet began to debate again. Kirov looked tense, his usual confidence shaken. "We underestimated them," he said. "Their resilience, their unpredictability, it is unlike anything we have faced." Lyra stepped forward. "They are not just resisting. They are teaching us something. Humans think differently, they fight differently, and that makes them dangerous in ways we cannot measure." Vexler hissed, clearly annoyed. "Dangerous, they are primitive, they cannot match our power." "Primitive?" Lyra said quietly, "perhaps. But they are adaptable. That is strength you cannot calculate. And their willingness to fight for each other, that is something we do not understand." On Earth, humans continued their work. Daniel moved from city to city, coordinating with volunteers, pilots, and engineers. He saw courage everywhere. Children were safe in shelters while parents worked tirelessly. Scientists like Olivia adjusted energy grids, while pilots like Jason risked their lives in small fighters. Every person contributed, every action mattered. As the night continued, Council ships moved in patterns to try and corner humans. They believed in overwhelming numbers and precise attacks, but humans did not move predictably. They struck from unexpected angles, using small teams, decoys, and terrain to their advantage. Ships that should have been unstoppable were disabled by tiny fighters with clever maneuvers. Daniel and Olivia watched the results on their screens. "They are confused," Daniel said. "Every attack is met with a counter they cannot predict. Humans are not just surviving. They are learning, adapting, and teaching the Council a lesson." Jason returned from another strike. "We disabled 2 more ships. They don't know where we are or what we will do next. We are controlling the battle." Daniel smiled. "Exactly. Humans are unpredictable. And that is why they cannot win easily. They can destroy, yes, but they cannot destroy what humans represent: courage, intelligence, and unity." Megan nodded. "Every city we protect, every move we make, proves that humans are not weak. They cannot calculate spirit." As dawn approached, the Council fleet remained in orbit, still unsure, still cautious. Their precise plans had failed, and the humans had adapted faster than they could anticipate. Daniel looked at the screens, watching humans continue their work, readying for the next wave. Olivia said quietly, "They are beginning to respect humans, not openly but internally. They see that humans cannot be measured, controlled, or destroyed easily." Daniel nodded. "Good, let them learn that. The more they doubt themselves, the stronger humans will become." The sun rose over Earth, lighting cities, forests, and oceans. It was beautiful, alive, and resilient. Humans had survived another night against impossible odds. They were small, fragile, and underestimated, but they had something no Council calculations could predict: intelligence, courage, and heart. Daniel looked at the planet below and whispered, "Humans survive, humans fight, and humans will always find a way." The Council may have doubted them, may have planned attacks with confidence, but humans had shown their first true spark of strength. The galaxy would not forget this day, and the Council would have to reconsider everything they thought they knew about Earth and its people. Humans were small, underestimated, and vulnerable, but they were alive, united, and unstoppable in ways the Council had yet to understand. The Council fleet hovered above Earth, their massive ships gleaming in the light of the sun. Daniel Brooks and Olivia Hayes watched from the command center as the alien commanders held tense discussions. The humans had survived the first attacks, outsmarting the Council in ways that no one had expected. For the first time, the Council was not confident. They were cautious, they were uncertain. Daniel clenched his fists. This was the moment humans had been waiting for. "They think they can still control us," he said quietly. "But now we take the fight to them." Olivia nodded. "We have already learned their patterns. We know how they respond. This is our chance to strike back." On Earth, pilots and engineers prepared for action. Jason Tate and his squadron were ready. Small fighters, lightly armed compared to Council ships, were equipped with newly developed human technology: fast-reacting shields, decoy drones, and tracking devices that could jam the Council sensors. Humans had little firepower, but they had cleverness, and cleverness could be deadly. Megan Ford and her team reinforced cities and command centers. Energy shields glimmered across the landscape, and automated drones moved in patterns designed to confuse the Council's sensors. Humans had prepared for defense, but now it was time to use offense. Daniel gathered the team. "Listen carefully," he said. "We strike at their communications first, cut their links, and their fleet will be blind. Then we hit the smaller ships, the scouts, and finally we force them to retreat. We are smaller and weaker, but we are faster, smarter, and unpredictable. Use every advantage." Jason saluted. "We understand. Let's make them regret underestimating us." The humans moved quickly. Fighters launched from Earth's orbit, weaving through debris and asteroid fragments. The Council fleet tried to track them, but human maneuvers were unpredictable. Jason led a squadron toward the communication ships. Their small size allowed them to slip past energy shields and avoid detection. Daniel watched the screens, heart pounding. "They're doing it. They're striking fast and disappearing. That is exactly how humans fight." Olivia adjusted the satellite network. "The decoys are active. The Council thinks there are more humans than there really are. They don't know where we are." The first attack was precise. Jason's squadron disabled several communication ships, leaving the Council fleet confused. Commands were delayed, sensors scrambled, and coordination faltered. The humans had turned the advantage in their favor. On the ground, Megan's team activated energy traps. Drones swarmed council ships, projecting false signals and mimicking human movements. Cities appeared empty, but in reality, thousands of humans were moving quickly to reinforce defenses and prepare for the next wave. Daniel smiled. They can't calculate spirit, they can't measure courage, and that is why they will fail. The council fleet attempted to respond. Vexler hissed in frustration, watching the displays. This is impossible. They should not be able to strike us like this. They are too weak, too small, and yet they adapt. Every attack is different. Every move is unpredictable. Lyra, the council member who had begun to understand humans, spoke quietly. They are clever, they fight differently, they think differently, and that is why we are losing control. Kirov growled, his pride wounded. We cannot allow this. Prepare for countermeasures. Focus on their fighters and destroy them. But humans had already anticipated this. Small squads moved quickly, striking isolated ships and then retreating. Council forces fired repeatedly, but the humans were fast, clever, and coordinated. They used shadows, terrain, and energy decoys to outmaneuver the superior technology. Jason led another strike team, targeting a council scout ship hovering near a city. They fired their weapons in bursts, then disappeared into the planet's shadow. The scout ship tried to follow, but its sensors were jammed, and it collided with one of the decoy drones. Explosions lit the night sky. Daniel watched, a mixture of pride and determination in his chest. Humans were not only surviving, they were turning the tide. They thought we would hide, surrender, or panic, he said. But humans don't. We fight, and we fight smart. Olivia checked the orbital defenses. The council fleet is disoriented. Their formations are breaking down. This is our chance to push them back further. Megan activated the next phase. Energy grids pulsed across the planet, creating zones of interference. Small council ships became trapped in these zones, unable to communicate with their main fleet. Humans struck again, disabling ships and forcing retreats. Every attack was precise, every defense clever. Daniel saw the fear growing in the council fleet. Their confidence was gone, replaced by doubt and frustration. They had underestimated humans, and now they were paying the price. Jason returned to Earth orbit after another successful strike. We disabled 3 more ships, he reported. They don't know what hit them. We are controlling the battle. Daniel nodded. Good, now we hit the larger ships. They rely on the smaller ones for coordination. Without them, they are blind. The humans moved quickly, using every advantage they had. Small fighters darted between the massive council vessels, striking weak points and retreating before the aliens could react. On the ground, engineers and scientists reinforced defenses, keeping cities safe while the fleet continued its attacks. Vexler hissed in frustration. They are everywhere and nowhere at the same time. How is this possible? Lyra spoke softly. It is human creativity. They are clever, adaptive, and united. They fight not for glory or power, but for survival. That is strength you cannot measure. Kirov's pride was wounded, but he was not ready to admit defeat. Prepare for another wave, focus fire, destroy them before they learn more tricks. Daniel and Olivia knew the council would strike again, but they also knew that humans were ready. Every trap had been set, every decoy prepared, every fighter trained. Humans were small, but they were resilient. They could think, adapt, and overcome. As the council ships advanced, humans struck again. Jason's squadron disabled critical systems on several large vessels, while decoy drones drew fire away from the cities. Energy shields absorbed attacks, protecting the civilians below. Humans moved quickly, coordinated perfectly, and outsmarted the superior technology. Daniel watched the displays, heart swelling with pride. This is why humans survive, he said. We may be small, but we are unstoppable when we refuse to give up. Olivia smiled. The council is learning, but slowly. Humans are faster, smarter, and braver than they realize. That is our advantage. The council fleet began to retreat, battered and confused. They had expected an easy victory, but humans had shown them otherwise. Daniel looked at Earth below, cities shining in the morning light, and felt hope. Humans had survived another night, fought back against impossible odds, and proven that spirit and intelligence mattered more than size or firepower. Jason and his squadron returned to the command center, exhausted but smiling. We did it, he said. We held them off. They don't know what to do next. Daniel nodded. We are not done, but this is a start. Humans are strong, clever, and united. The Council underestimated us, and that is their greatest mistake. Megan's team deactivated traps and drones, readying them for the next wave if needed. Every move we make proves that humans cannot be controlled, she said. Daniel turned to Olivia. We have shown them our strength, but the Council will not forget this. They will come back. And when they do, we will be ready. Humans will survive, humans will fight, and humans will prove that we are not to be underestimated. The sun rose higher, lighting Earth in a golden glow. The humans below moved with purpose, rebuilding, preparing, and protecting. The Council fleet retreated, confused and frustrated, but humans were alive, united, and stronger than ever. Daniel looked at the skies, thinking about the battles to come. They will learn, he said quietly. Humans cannot be predicted, humans cannot be controlled, and humans will never give up. Olivia smiled. Exactly, that is why they fear us, and that is why we will survive. The Council fleet disappeared into space, but humans had proven their point. They were clever, resilient, and unpredictable. They had survived against impossible odds, and Daniel knew that this was only the beginning. Humans were small, underestimated, and vulnerable, but they had heart, intelligence, and courage, and that was more powerful than any Council weapon. The night ended, but the fight was not over. Humans would continue to adapt, continue to fight, and continue to prove that no force in the galaxy could take them lightly. Daniel looked at Earth below, feeling pride and determination. Humans had won this round, but the real victory was in showing the Council, and themselves, what they were truly capable of. The Council fleet hung at the edge of Earth's system, battered, confused, and frustrated. Daniel Brooks watched from the command center as their ships faltered. Humans had survived wave after wave of attacks, striking back in ways the Council could not predict. It was a sight he never thought he would witness, the galaxy's most advanced powers hesitating because of a small, clever, and united species. Olivia Hayes leaned over the console, her eyes scanning the fleet. They've lost coordination, she said quietly. They are confused, unsure, and afraid. This is our chance to finish what we started, Daniel nodded. We've shown them humans cannot be controlled, now we show them humans cannot be defeated. On Earth, Megan Ford and her team reinforced the cities, making sure energy shields, drones, and communication lines were ready. Volunteers worked tirelessly, preparing decoys and traps, while pilots readied for the next strike. Every person knew the importance of what they were doing. Humans were not just surviving, they were fighting with intelligence, creativity, and courage. Jason Tate and his squadron prepared for the final attack. Their small fighters darted in formation, weaving between the massive Council ships. They had learned the weaknesses in the enemy fleet. Every maneuver, every strategy had been tested in previous battles. Now it was time to use that knowledge. Daniel called the team together. Listen carefully. This is our moment. The Council thinks they can retreat or recalculate, but they cannot. We will hit their communications first, disable their smaller ships, and force their fleet to pull back. Every strike must be precise. Every move must be clever. Humans are small, but we are unpredictable. That is our strength. Jason nodded. We are ready. Let's show them what humans can do. The squadron launched into space, weaving past Council fire. Their first target was the communications ships, which were crucial for the Council fleet's coordination. Jason and his team struck with precision, disabling multiple ships in quick succession. Council forces fired blindly, unable to predict the humans' rapid movements. On the ground, Megan activated the energy traps. Drones swarmed Council ships, projecting false signals and confusing sensors. Cities appeared empty, while humans moved quickly behind the scenes, reinforcing defenses and preparing for the next wave. Daniel watched the displays, feeling pride and determination. Humans were not just surviving, they were controlling the battlefield. Every attack was met with a clever counter, every move designed to exploit weaknesses the Council did not expect. The Council commanders were frantic. Kirov barked orders, trying to restore coordination. Focus fire, destroy them, he demanded, but the humans had already anticipated this. Small fighter squads struck at isolated ships, causing confusion and panic. Lyra, the Council member who had begun to understand humans, spoke quietly. They are clever, adaptive, and united. They fight for survival, not for power. That is strength you cannot calculate, Vexler hissed. They are primitive. They should not be able to resist us. Every calculation says they must fall, and yet they survive. How? Daniel smiled. That's why humans will always endure. We think, we adapt, we fight for each other, and we never give up. Jason's squadron returned after another successful strike. We disabled more ships, he reported. The Council fleet is breaking apart. They don't know where to strike next. Daniel nodded. Good, now we push them further. Small strikes, smart maneuvers, and constant adaptation. They cannot win if they cannot predict us. Olivia adjusted the satellites, sending false signals and energy readings across the battlefield. Council ships misinterpreted the data, attacking decoys and wasting energy. Humans struck again, disabling critical systems on larger vessels and forcing the fleet to retreat. On Earth, civilians watched the skies in fear and awe. Cities glimmered with energy shields, drones moved in intricate patterns, and fighter squadrons danced through space. Humanity was small, fragile, and underestimated, but alive, united, and unstoppable in ways the Council had yet to understand. Daniel moved between the command centers, coordinating pilots, engineers, and volunteers. Every strike was calculated, every defense reinforced. Humans had learned from the Council, adapted, and now used their knowledge to control the battlefield. Megan smiled as she monitored the energy traps. Every attack they launch is met with a counter, she said. Humans are proving they cannot be destroyed. Daniel nodded. Exactly, this is why the Council fears us. They can destroy ships and cities, but they cannot destroy our spirit, our intelligence, or our courage. As the Council fleet faltered, Kirov called for a retreat. We have underestimated them, he admitted reluctantly. Their creativity, adaptability, and courage, it is unlike anything we have faced. We must withdraw and reconsider. Lyra spoke softly. They are not just resisting, they are teaching us. Humans are clever, resourceful, and united. That is why they survive. Vexler hissed, frustrated and humiliated. We cannot defeat them. Every attack fails. They adapt faster than we can calculate. We must retreat. Back on Earth, humans watched as the Council fleet pulled away. Cheers erupted in the command centers and on the streets. People embraced, smiled, and celebrated the victory. Humans had survived, and they had proven something important. Even a small, underestimated species could stand against the galaxy's mightiest powers. Daniel looked at Earth, glowing under the rising sun. He felt pride, hope, and determination. Humans survive, humans fight, and humans will always find a way. Olivia placed a hand on his shoulder. We've shown them what humans are capable of. They will respect us now, even if they do not admit it openly. Jason and his squadron returned to the command center, exhausted but smiling. We did it, Jason said. We forced them to retreat. They underestimated humans, and it cost them. Daniel nodded. And they will not forget it. Humans are clever, united, and unpredictable. That is our strength. That is what makes us dangerous in ways they cannot measure. Megan deactivated the energy traps, drones, and shields that were no longer needed. We've protected our people, defended our cities, and outsmarted the Council. Humans are stronger than they thought. Daniel turned to the team. Today, humans have done something remarkable. We have survived against impossible odds. We have fought smarter, faster, and braver than any Council calculation could predict. And we have proven that humans are not to be underestimated. Olivia smiled. This is only the beginning. The Council may retreat, but they will remember this day. They will remember Earth and its people, and next time they will think twice before attacking. Daniel looked at the planet below, cities shining in the morning light. Humans are small, but we are strong. Humans are underestimated, but we are clever. And humans are alive, united, and unstoppable. The Council fleet disappeared into the distance, leaving Earth in peace, for now. But Daniel knew this victory was more than just survival. It was a message. Humans had proven that courage, intelligence, and unity mattered more than size, technology, or firepower. The galaxy would never forget this lesson. Jason, Megan, Olivia, and Daniel watched the skies, feeling pride and hope. Humans had survived against impossible odds. They had defended their homes, their families, and their planet. And they had shown the Council that even a small, underestimated species could rise to greatness. Daniel spoke quietly, looking at the team. Today, we showed the Council the truth. Humans are clever, adaptable, and brave. We survive because we think, we fight, and we never give up. That is our strength. That is what makes us unstoppable. Olivia nodded. And the galaxy will learn it. Slowly, yes, but it will learn. Humans cannot be predicted, controlled, or ignored. That is our power. Megan smiled. We've done more than survive. We've inspired ourselves and the people around us. Humanity has proven what we are capable of. Jason looked at the skies. And we will continue to prove it. The council may retreat today, but tomorrow humans will be ready for anything. Daniel watched Earth, shining and alive, full of people who had fought, adapted, and survived. The council may have thought humans were small, weak, and primitive, but now they knew better. Humans were clever, resilient, and unstoppable. The victory was not just for the present, it was for the future. Humans had shown that intelligence, courage, and unity mattered more than any weapon. They had proven that even a species considered weak by the galaxy could rise, fight, and win. As the sun rose higher, Daniel smiled faintly. Humans survive, humans fight, and humans will always find a way. The team looked at each other, exhausted but proud. Humanity had faced impossible odds, outsmarted a powerful fleet, and defended its planet. They had done what many thought impossible, and in doing so they had proven that humans were not to be underestimated. Daniel turned to the team. Today, we did more than survive. We showed the council the truth. We showed the galaxy the truth. Humans are small, clever, and unstoppable, and that is the legacy we carry forward. The skies cleared. Earth was safe for now. Humans had survived, fought back, and won. They had proven that no matter how small, how weak, or how underestimated, humanity could rise to greatness when it mattered most. Daniel, Olivia, Megan, and Jason looked at Earth below, knowing the council had learned an important lesson. Humans were not to be ignored, dismissed, or underestimated, and in the heart of every person on the planet, hope, courage, and determination burned brighter than ever before. Humans had won. They had survived, and the galaxy would never forget it.